Hello everyone, welcome to week 7 in Introduction to Cybercrime and Environmental Laws. Today we are going to discuss the salient features of Republic Acts 8749 and 9275. We are going to start with RA 8749, which is the Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999. The state shall pursue a policy of balancing development and environmental protection. To achieve this end, the framework for sustainable development shall be pursued. As such, it shall be the policy of the state to formulate a holistic national program of air pollution that shall be implemented by the government through proper delegation and effective coordination of function and activities. Encourage cooperation and self-regulation among citizens and industries through the application of incentives, market-based instruments. Focus primarily on pollution prevention rather than on control and provide for a comprehensive management program on air pollution. Promote public information and education to encourage the participation of an informed and active public in air quality planning and monitoring, and formulate and enforce a system of accountability for short and long-term adverse environmental impact of a project, program, or activity. This shall include setting up of funding or guarantee mechanism for cleanup and environmental rehabilitation and compensation for personal damages. RA 8749 mandates the various government agencies to do the following in support of this act. So these are the agencies that could extend help for us to maintain a clean air environment. So we have the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. It acts as overall of the lead agency, prepare a national air quality status report, which shall be used as a basis in formulating the integrated air quality improvement framework, issue rules and regulations in the implementation of the Act. We have the Department of Transportation and Communication in coordination with the DENR in case of industrial discharges and the DOTC in case of motor vehicles. This shall be based on environmental techniques, design, impose on and collect regular emission fees from all said discharges as part of the emission permitting system or vehicle registration renewal system as the case may be. The OTC implement the emission standards for motor vehicles. Then we have the Department of Science and Technology with the DENR, other agencies, private sector, the academe, non-government organizations, and people's organization shall establish a national research development program for the prevention and control of air pollution. Then we have the Department of Trade and Industry, the DUST local government units, together with the DENR, shall develop an action plan for the control and management of air pollution from motor vehicles with the integrated air quality management framework. Then we have the combination of the OTC, DTI, and DENR, which shall establish the procedures for the inspection of motor vehicles in the and the testing of their emissions for the purpose of determining the concentration or rate of emission of pollutants discharged by said sources. Then we have the Department of Energy, co-chaired with the DENR in consultation with the Bureau of Product Standards of DTI, DOST, with the fuel and automotive industries, academe, and the consumers. The Department of Energy shall set specifications for all types of fuel and fuel-related products to improve fuel composition for increased efficiency and reduce emissions. Then we have the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Service Administration, which shall regularly monitor meteorological factors affecting environmental conditions, including ozone depletion and greenhouse gases. We have also the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute with the DENR. PNRI shall regulate all projects which will involve the use of atomic or nuclear energy and will entail release of radioactive substances into the environment, incident to the establishment or position of nuclear energy facilities and radioactive materials, handling, transport, production, storage, and use of radioactive materials. Then we have the Department of Education, Commission on Higher Education, Department of Interior and Local Government, and the Philippine Information Agency. They shall encourage participation of government agencies in the private sector, including non-government organizations, POS, academe, environmental groups, and other private entities in a multi-sectoral campaign. So these are the different agencies that must work for us to have what we call a clean air environment. Okay, so they are going to give sanction to violations in air pollution. They are also going to uh, devise prevention measures to emissions of dirty air. So they will work hand in hand in order for us to have what we call a clean air act, clean air environment. Next, we have Republic Act 9275, which is the Philippine Clean Water Act. So, why the need for the Clean Water Act? As early as 1996, monitoring of the country's rivers showed that only 51% of the classified rivers still met the standards for their most beneficial use. The rest were already polluted from domestic, industrial, and agricultural sources. Most studies point to the fact that domestic wastewater is the principal cause of organic pollution at 48% of our water bodies. Yet, only 3% of the investment in water supply and sanitation were going to sanitation and sewage treatment. A recent World Bank report pointed out that Metro Manila was second to the lowest in sewer connections among major cities in Asia in less than 7% compared to 20% for Kathmandu, Nepal, and 30% for Dhaka, Bangladesh. 31% of all illnesses in the country are attributed to polluted waters. Clearly, to ensure access to clean water for all Filipinos, it was imperative that government put together a comprehensive strategy to protect water quality. What is the Clean Water Act? The, the Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004, which is Republic Act number 9275, aims to protect the country's water bodies from pollution from land-based sources, industries and commercial establishment, agriculture and community or household activities. It provides for a comprehensive and integrated strategy to prevent and minimize pollution through a multi-sectoral and participatory approach involving the stakeholders. What is the highlights of the Clean Water Act? How will water quality be managed? Management of water quality will either be based on watershed, river basin, or water resources region. Water quality management areas with similar hydrological, hydrogeological, meteorological, or geographic conditions which affect the reaction and diffusion of pollutants in water bodies are to be designed by the DNR in coordination with the National Water Resources Board. Who will manage these areas? Management will be localized. Multi-sectoral governing boards will be established to manage water quality issues within their respective jurisdiction. Who are the members of the governing boards? Governing boards shall be composed of representatives of mayors and governors, as well as local government units, representatives of relevant national government agencies, duly registered non-government organizations, the concerned water utility sector in the business sector. What are the functions of the governing boards? The governing boards will formulate strategies to coordinate policies necessary for the effective implementation of this act. They will create a multi-sectoral group to establish and effect water quality surveillance and monitoring. How will discharges of wastewater be controlled? So all owners or operators of facilities that discharge wastewater are required to get a permit to discharge from the DENR or the Laguna Lake Development Authority. Existing industries without any permit are given 12 months from the effectivity of the implementing rules and regulations promulgated pursuant to this act to secure a permit to discharge. How will domestic wastewater be addressed? The Department of Public Works and Highways, in coordination with local government units, will prepare a national program on sewage and seepage management not later 12 months from the effectivity of this act. A priority list will likewise be prepared which will be the basis for the allotment of funds on annual basis by the national government for the construction and rehabilitation of required facilities. So that is how it was addressed, no? Sa tulong ng DPWH para makapag prepare ng National Program on Sewage and Seepage. At hindi lang dito, pati na rin sa pag-alat ng funds on yearly basis ng national government for the construction and rehabilitation of these sewage and seepage facilities. On the other hand, LGUs are to provide the land, including road right-of-way, for the construction of sewage and seepage treatment facilities and raise funds for the operations and maintenance of said facilities. The Department of Health will formulate guidelines and standards for the collection, treatment, and disposal of sewage as well as the guidelines for the establishment and operation of centralized sewage treatment system. Agencies mandated to provide water supply and sewerage facilities are required to connect existing sewage lines subject to the payment of sewerage service charges or fees within 5 years following the effectivity of the Clean Water Act. How will the discharge of wastewater be discouraged? O paano ma-discourage ang pag-discharge ng wastewater? Lalo na sa mga establishment. Anyone discharging wastewater into a water body will have to pay a wastewater charge. This economic instrument, which will be developed in consultation with all concerned stakeholders, is expected to encourage investment in cleaner production and pollution control technologies to reduce the amount of pollutants generated and discharged. Effluent trading per management area will also be allowed. Rewards will also be given to those whose wastewater discharge is better than the water quality criteria of the receiving body of the water. Fiscal and non-fiscal incentives will also be given to LGUs, water districts, enterprise, private entities, and individuals who develop and undertake outstanding and innovative projects in water quality management. What safeguards are provided for? All possible discharges are required to put up an environmental guarantee fund as a part of their environmental management plan. The Environmental Guarantee Fund will finance the conservation of watersheds and aquifers in the needs of emergency response, cleanup, or rehabilitation. So let us know the prohibited acts under Republic Act 9275. Discharging or depositing any water pollutant to the water body or such which will impede natural flow in the water body. Discharging, injecting, or allowing to enter into the soil anything that would pollute groundwater. Operating facilities that discharge regulated water pollutants without the valid requirements. Disposal of potentially infectious medical waste into the sea by vessels. Unauthorized transport or dumping into waters of sewage sludge or solid waste, and transport dumping or discharge of prohibited chemicals, substances, or pollutants listed under the toxic chemicals, hazardous, and nuclear. So these are the salient features or provisions of these two acts, Republic Act 8749 and Republic Act 9275. Okay, so I gave you your essay type in your activity. So there are suggested readings there, which is the two Republic Acts itself. So please research that for you to be able to answer fully the questionnaire in your essay uh, type. So thank you and until next lesson.